What's going on, one time two? Is this your first time here, or were you here yesterday? I think I could actually change it here. Let me see. Change nickname. What's your name? So at least I'll see Josh here. Everybody else is using their real name, so I know how to address everybody. Cool. Let me just get my laptop set up. So my idea, and if you guys like it and think that it actually has potential, then I'll go ahead and I'll add it to the open source projects down here. If anyone else has any other project ideas, definitely feel free to share yours after I share mine. And then, yeah, if your project sounds good, we can always add it to the open source projects as well. I would love to begin, like, actually dedicating my time to building these projects, and that'd be amazing. There's just so much to build and not enough time. But so this project idea I have is, so I was thinking that in LeetCode, if we go to LeetCode and you look at any problem, so we could look at like one of these hard problems. Let's just say wildcard matching, for example. So you have this hard problem, right? And this problem, it solves a problem. Like if you come up with a solution for this, you're gonna solve a problem. And when you solve the problem in code, it is a solution that's just abstract. Like it's not related to the real world at all. But I typed something into ChatGPT the other day where I was like, here, I'll go ahead and do it right now just in front of you guys so you can see. Which important, yeah, hold on, my bad. So which important real world problems would the solution to this LeetCode problem potentially solve? So I posted just a random LeetCode problem, right? And then it shows you a couple real world problems that you can apply this solution to. Command line utilities, text processing, database querying. But then if I go and grab another problem, like if you find one, let's just say, I want something with arrays actually. So with arrays, a hard problem, block placement queries, and then you ask it this one. And it'll give you some real world problems. So like, some of them sound cool. Some of them sound really cool. So urban planning and construction, determining if a construction project such as building a new road or laying down utilities can be completed within a specific segment of land given existing obstacles like buildings or natural features. And if you look at the problem, block placement queries, there exists an infinite number line with its origin at 0 and extending towards the positive x-axis. This is all abstract stuff, but this is how that abstract stuff can be applied to the real world. And I was like, what if you build a server that just has all of these functions, all of these solutions? You could literally go to LeetCode and find the problems that you want, and then you could go to solutions, and I could be like, let me find the C solutions. It's going to be written in this super efficient code. I look at this, and I have the solution. So you put these solutions on that server. These are all public information, you know, and a lot of them are repeat. A lot of them are stuff people learned in school or in math. But take this, put a bunch of them on a server based on whatever one sounds like cool real-world applications. So you search through all the different problems and solutions in LeetCode, find the ones that sound cool with real-world problems applied to them, put all the solutions on a server so you have this functionality running on the server, and then build user interfaces, small, tiny, little high functionality user interfaces that connect to that server. So, and you could customize the user interface, and you could also customize the algorithm based on business needs. So it's not set in stone like, oh, all these solutions we found on LeetCode, this is how we have to use them. We could change them, because you have to look at the way the real world is functioning now. So I'm like, man, you have the most efficient algorithms on a computer, build user interfaces that plug into those solutions, and then make them available to the people who they would actually benefit. And that right there is like, there's no shortage of ideas with a project like that, because you have to be creative. Like, how are you going to use this? How are you going to connect the UI to the function and do it in a way that benefits whoever you're trying to serve with that? And there's so many different things you could do. Like, if you actually look at these, there's so many different things, and everybody could choose one. Like, we could all work on the same problem, but I'll do the urban planning and construction real world application, you'll do the manufacturing and production lines, another person will do robotics and automation, and we each build a UI that actually appeals to robotics and automation, or network planning, or game development, that sort of. I don't know, I just feel like with this project right here, there's infinite possibility. What do you guys think? What do you mean? Like, well, they do. Obviously, well, if they're yeah, I'm sure they do. Well, they have a database full of solutions, obviously, because if they're rendering this to the page of their website, they have this stored in a database somewhere. So they already have this stored in a database somewhere. We don't have access to those databases. That's the problem, right? Because if we did, we could just build UIs and plug into their database of algorithms. Actually, the potential that they have living inside of their systems right now is actually crazy to think about, you know? The world's best, most highest efficient code just stored in a database. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think it would be so cool. No, definitely not. Definitely not. But now they have it, and I don't see them doing this. I don't see them doing this, because if you had these algorithms in a database exactly like I'm saying, you'd be able to start building user interfaces. But they're an education platform. That's their business focus. Maybe no one just even thought about the possibility. I think it'd be a good idea. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, I've seen some of that stuff. Yeah, I've seen some of that stuff. I've seen some of the architecture tools for like building sequence diagrams and that sort of thing. It's not where it should be, but I can see the potential for sure. So that's that idea. Like I said, we're going to be working on the repair website tonight anyways, so let's just do a recap about what we did yesterday. I don't know what the other team did yesterday. Nobody is here, so nobody's here to actually share the code that they worked on yesterday, but this is what we did. I'll go ahead and run the website just so you can see what we have so far. And then I'll invite everybody into the code editor and we can get coding. So I will close this for now. So basically right now it's super simple. We have an appliance repair site. You enter your zip code. If it's serviceable, I believe the repeats are serviceable. It'll bring you to the serviceable page. So next step is diagnosis. This is the diagnosis form. If you click next, you go to schedule appointment. If you go next again, contact information. information. And then this is the component we actually worked on. So you have 3 states: diagnosis, schedule, and contact. If the appointment form state is 0, it renders diagnosis. Else, if it's 1, it renders schedule appointment. Else, it renders contact information. We got handle forward and handle back for those buttons. And yeah, so you can see how we just have the basic functionality. Tonight we're planning to actually build out these forms. So if you look at our database, you can see that, so we have diagnosis. Here's one stage. That's going to collect the device type, the device make. Well, they're all going to be vacuums to begin with, but the device make, the device model, the serial number, and then questions. And each one of these questions is going to be one of the inputs on the form. I know, I thought twice about even adding it, but we could add it for now. If it gets too complicated, we could pull it out, because you're right, it just seems, for having a focus on user experience and trying to make things as easy as possible, it seems like a complicated thing. Honestly, the easiest thing to do would be have a camera that takes a picture of their appliance and have some AI just figure out what it is. That would be, and that's possible. So we should definitely add that feature eventually. Like, take a picture of your appliance, takes a picture of your appliance, the device type, make and model is, and serial number is all automatically added, and then you have your questions, and then the questions populate based on that. But that's down the road. And then we have our questions. If you make it to the next stage, you have schedule appointment. So each appointment is going to have a date and time, and it's going to be attached to a customer. Each appointment is going to be connected to a customer. And then last but not least, we have our contact information form, and that's just going to create an address, and it's going to fill in the rest of the fields for customer. So, simple enough. What questions does anyone have before we get started? Tonight we're gonna, if it's possible, I think that the best thing to do, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 people. That's actually perfect. 2 people could do diagnosis. 2 people could do schedule appointment. 2 people could do contact information. And you'll actually be, I can't really hear you. Is that you, Emmanuel, or the other one? Alright, cool. He'll message me if he wants to come back. Yeah, so 2 people on diagnosis, 2 people on schedule appointment, 2 people on contact information, and then we go from there. It'll be easy to build. We're not doing the styles ourselves. We're going to be using Next.js. So most of this form stuff that we're inputting is going to be input. And we're going to wrap all this stuff in just a form element anyway. So keeps it very simple. And also, if you look at our first component here, you can see we're using the same input. You have to put the name of the field, and then we're also going to put some validation on it. So we have our form state. Our form state is going to be pretty much just to return errors. And we'll want to have that on these forms as well. And then, yeah, where do we have our, if we look at process zip code, you can see that we do a safe parse on our form data. So we use our zip code schema, and we create a schema with library. So the Zod documentation is very easy. I'll post it in the chat. So this is what we're using for form validation. This is what we're using for styling. And I'll throw Next.js out there too, just because a lot of people are new to that. So we have Next docs right there. So this is literally all the documentation you need. You could ask ChatGPT, but it sucks for writing actual lead code. And I actually pay for it, so it still sucks. I always have to rewrite my code. It always ruins my code. I always have to go back and refactor. I might not be good at creating prompts that actually make it give me exactly what I need. I could probably do better at articulating that, but still, it's just documentation is way better. Yeah, they do. And the problem is that a lot of the information that it's using is outdated. The documentation is updated pretty much anytime there's a change. If there's any change, the docs are updated. So you know you can trust the docs, you know the docs are up to date, all that stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a poll. We have 3 components to build tonight: diagnosis, schedule appointment, and contact information. And then, does anyone want to work on something besides that? I think it would be cool just to stay tight, everybody work on something similar. Alright, I'm going to create a poll then. Which component do you want to work on? Do you want to work on the diagnosis component, the schedule component, or the contact information? Alright, so I'll give everybody just a couple minutes to vote, and then we'll go from there. If you're wondering what fields do we actually need for this component, just go to the schema. So if you're building the customer one, then you're going to need basically this data: first name, last name, phone number, and then an address, city, state. We're going to have the zip code already, so we might even be able to populate this stuff eventually, but we should have access to the zip code, I think. Unless we don't really want to pass it down, we don't have to. But there are good tools just for auto-populating addresses, which simplifies that. So yeah. So this is if you're doing the contact, if you're doing diagnosis, you have these 2 models to think about. And if you're doing the appointment, you have this to think about. I guess if they submit this whole thing, we are going to place an order, right? So, alright, cool. Alright, so we have 2 votes. If you're wondering where this poll is, we're all sitting in the co-working space right now. If you hover over the top of it, you'll see open chat, create invite, edit channel. Just click on open chat. There's a poll right here. Choose the one you want to work on tonight. And then we'll break out into teams. Let me go ahead and get the live share link. I'll post that. Hi, Don Wilson, what's up? Pretty good, pretty good. A little bit hot. It's like it's in the 90s up here. Not used to it, but it's all good. How you doing? think it's supposed to be hotter down there. Yeah, oh man, sounds muggy. That's what's up. Welcome back, welcome back. Saul Roma, what's up? Surya, what's up, man? Pretty good, pretty good. Let's see. So Emmanuel's gonna work on the schedule component. Kevin and Idon are gonna work on the contact information component. Alright. Do we have anyone in here? Are you guys going to fork the project, or are you gonna hop into my code editor? Okay. Okay. Cool, cool. Alright, so we only have 3 votes. Kevin and I are gonna work on contact information, and then we have the schedule component. Emmanuel, you're over here by yourself, so I'll work with you on the schedule component, and then we'll meet up at the end of the session and just share the stuff that we wrote. This one should be pretty simple. We should be able to finish it pretty quickly. But alright, so the team that's working on the contact information component can drop down into breakout room number 1. The team working with me on the schedule component, jump down to breakout room number 2. I shared the live share link, so if you're coding with me, feel free to hop into my code editor. I don't want to do all the coding, but alright, cool. And then if anyone needs anything, just hit me up. Alright. Yeah, shit. What were you working on yesterday? Okay. I only see Discord. I don't see your code. What's up, Eric? What's up, Eric? Yeah, there we go. I see it in the, oh, there we go. So I'm in the appointment sign up. We have you're in schedule appointment. You want to just go ahead and either copy and paste that code just into my code editor, just pop into my live share and copy and paste that, or go ahead and just paste it to the chat and I can do it. And it doesn't look like anyone has hopped into my code editor, so I'll go ahead and just type code and we'll go from there. If anyone wants to code along, feel free to. Let me actually get a copy of the link and post it in this one too. Alright. I posted the link just above your code. So. Alright, so we have a schedule component. You're importing the customer type. So I believe we could do some, I don't know if we need the type here. I think we'll need the type on the server. Because if we just start this use state, we can even cut this out and just do use state. That way we don't pull in the whole React library, just this one function. Alright, so we got use state. So we need name and customer, right? And if they're both initialized as strings, we know that, alright, so we know we're gonna start off with some form state as well, and we're gonna pass that form state to our server action. So we need a server action that when this button is clicked, let's see. We actually don't have a button attached to this. Our button is here. And then the UI that's going to render is here. So on click of this button, then we need to run the server action that takes all of the data from the form and passes it to the database. Alright, so we have, well, let's just look at the database first. So we need a first name, last name, phone number, address. So we need first name, set first name, starts as an empty string, last name, phone number. Let me think, because that seems super repetitive. If we just did so for use state, I see what you were trying to do. You were trying to pass like an object in here, right? With maybe fields that match the customer type. Is that what you were trying to do? I wonder if you could do a union of some sort. So customer has no exported member customer. Let me set first name. Alright, what do we have? This would be first name, and then Alright, so I'm starting them all with strings. I don't know if that's the best way to do it. But so we have our customer type now. The only problem is cannot read, clear, and export. Oh. Alright, so now we need to make sure that this customer is actually in the database. I think we have to run. I think we have to migrate the current model that we have. So let me go ahead and just do npx migrate npx prisma migrate dev, and then we'll call it add schedule form models. There, and then you have to run npx prisma generate, and then alright, so now we have access to customer. Cool. Phone is a string or null. Object literal may only specify known properties, and phone does not exist. Oh, phone number. Oh yeah. That's phone is better. Let's do that one more time. Let me copy this for you. And then you have to run this afterwards. Yep. The more I think about like a database being in the same server, like on the same computer, the less I like it, because I think about scalability. I don't know. I feel like it's better. Like I feel like Next.js is really good for developing ideas really fast, but eventually it's gonna come to a point where you're gonna have to break things up, right? It does caching. Yeah, it does caching automatically, but I don't know. You know that rule in programming that's like function should only do one thing, or like certain blocks of code should only do one thing. That's how I feel like with functionality built into a computer, like a server. Like if you have processing and storage all on one computer, it's like eventually it comes to a point where you have to have a computer dedicated to storage and one dedicated to processing, right? That's, yeah, exactly. Because some computers are designed for specific things. Like if you look at AWS Cloud, you can see that some of the computers are designed for high processing and low storage, and some of them are designed for storage. So it's like, I guess there's so many options. Phone. Alright, so I should work. She looks like this. It's still saying phone number. Alright, we'll use phone number for now. that's the shape of our custom. But we don't actually, we're not filling an ID. Let's just go back to the other way that we saved all here. So email, first name, last name, phone. First name, last name, phone, address. Alright. So we can just keep our state like this, right? I wonder what people would say, what's the better way? Like, is it creating this actual object here, or creating one by one? What do you think? Like, because if you go ahead and change this, if you change this input right here, then you're gonna execute handle change. You're gonna pass in the event target value, which is gonna be this right here, this value, and then how do you know which one of these you're actually changing? And then when you run set, I guess set customer, right? It's not set first name, it's set customer. When you run that, are you passing in a whole object every single time? So I'm using this set first name to set this value, right? So it would be set customer, and then you'd pass in customer.email. Yeah, because what you pass into set customer is the object you want to replace the customer with, right? So if I pass in an object that just has an email property, it would just overwrite the email property, or would it overwrite the whole object? supposed to be passing it. Yeah, see, we gotta pass in an object. So you put it, yeah, you're putting the rest of the customer in there, and then you have your name, and you have your value. So, alright, so where are you getting this name from? For some reason, let's see if this works. So, let me see the name. Let's see what these are. I just want to see them change. I want to make sure they're changing based on the form that we're filling out or the input that we're filling out. So let's create two different ones. And one of them is going to be last name, last name, last name, and then this handle change function should work on every single one, right? Let's see. Alright, let's check out the page and see what we're logging to the console here. What's up, Justin? What's up, Aditya? somewhere. Alright, so I guess alright, so let's go ahead and create the labels. Let me pull in the label from here. Which one do you guys want to use for this? I guess they're all very similar. I like this email one. A couple different email ones. Let's see. So here's an email type. Email comes before name. Let's include. Mail icon. We can import that from like React or something. Pretty cool to get an icon so we can just pull that in later. Alright, that looks way better. Email. Alright. And then if you want to go ahead and, I know Emmanuel and Duverse is in here, if you want to go ahead and copy and paste, or let me share these Next.js docs with you. If you check on input, I'll go ahead and create, I'll start creating the address. If y'all want to convert the current first name, last name, and phone from the input fields on Next.js. Go ahead and oh, I was just saying, we need to create the input fields. So I'm gonna go ahead and start working on the address. Yeah, I'm gonna start working on the address forms. If y'all want to clean up the email, first name, last name, and phone. I'm just gonna be working beneath you down here. You actually don't need to put a placeholder because they put the labels automatically on these things. Let me see what it looks like. Let's see the difference. Yeah. So address one. Alright, so we don't need the label authority placeholder. I believe they do show a way to add the labels. Yeah, so you could do it like this. Address line one. Okay, so that makes sense, having like address line one and then an example of what the address would be as the placeholder. That makes sense. they make spaces in between these forms? Because our form looks like really close together. Spaces. Oh, my bad. No, I'm not. I can't. I think it's gap 4. It's gap. Yeah. Let's do that. No. Okay. Well, I haven't added flex to it, so. The dev styling. For this div here? No. We honestly don't even need that div. I don't know why it's there. Schedule appointment. Yeah, I guess we could go back and create a form layout component, and we could wrap them all in the form layout component. That's what I would do, because that just keeps the styling separate from, at least the layout styling separate from the functionality and the content of the forms. You know? Within the form layer. You could. I'll just Nah, I could do it. I like to focus on the back end and the logic as much as I possibly can. That's why I chose Next.UI. Well, a combination of Next.UI and Tailwind, because sometimes you have to use Tailwind. Very rarely. Yeah. Nah, I got you. I know. But I think we can add, because we do want to add a little gap here, though, right? So flex, call, gap 4. That should work. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit of space. And then we do need to, let's separate the address just so we know, like, hey, this is actually a different model. Try and schedule appointment. Address. We'll go ahead and just do H2 here for clarification. Contact information. And then, alright, so we're gonna need schedule appointment to be a little bit bigger. But everything was good. Oh, we actually have all this stuff in the wrong component. Schedule appointment. Oh, contact information component is. What do we got going on over here? Contact information. What's up? working on the same one? Kevin, we're working on the same one you're working on. Yeah, I think I locked up. I locked up being able to create a branch off the master branch, but I want to change it so that people could create branches off the feature branches, just to keep it simple and focused. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I believe it's protected. I read that thing that you sent me the other day, and I set that up. So I created some rules for it. So let's check. Let's check here right now. So if I go to settings, rules, right? Branches. Why classic? Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. That makes sense to me. Stats check. So I thought I already had. Right there. Yeah. Yeah. Allow force pushes? No. But then I believe that hold on, let me see something. Yeah, so I created these here. Well, I wonder if this is the same thing. Restrictions, require a pull request before merging, block force. Alright, so all the same stuff. It's just disabled. Alright, so I guess we could just try with this setup worst case scenario, we have to go and revert back to a previous commit from local and re-push it, recreate something like that. Sounds tedious, but it's possible to save it, right? Alright. And then I want everyone to be able to create pull requests and like submit code, you know? Even if they're just random people, whoever, I want anyone to be able to contribute for sure. But like you said, we just don't want to. Exactly, that's the main thing. Making sure that people can't force, especially on the master. And then I think I had another rule set too. Yeah, because I had one on features, and I thought this one was less strict, that people were actually able to require a pull request before merging. Yeah, because you could always create, because these features are not like the map feature. It's not super small feature. You know, it's going to be some work. So I think people should be able to create branches off of and yeah, okay. So I'll delete this one. We'll keep the master one, and yeah, we'll go from there. All right, cool. Give it a shot. Give it a test. I know for this form that we were working on tonight, we have. See that error here. You know what I'm gonna do, Kev? Because we literally created the same thing that you created. You're working on the contact information. For some reason, we're building the contact information form into the schedule appointment component. Yeah. So come over here real quick and check out this code. And no, all at once for sure. Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah, I guess you could put a max on it or something, but I don't really see a big deal. I wrote some basic validation in here. I believe we could do that right in the form. So like, what is it, max? Max length. Number or undefined. So we could say what, 20 for an email? No, emails are sometimes bigger. We'll say 30. works too. State. Yeah, we will. We will. I wonder if, let's just check. It's a drop down, right? True. Nope. Select. Here we go. True. They have pre-built tools though for that. Alright, so we'll just go with like a select. We don't have to fill them all in right now. We'll find the library that will populate this stuff for us. So select. Alright, those are our 3 states. For now. Select item. That should work. Select item. Key. State. I don't like that word state. It's just like there's so many different uses for that word. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's cool. Alright, so that should work then. Oh wait, we still have some errors over here. So let's go ahead and, you know what? Yeah, I was gonna say. No, I know, I'm copy and pasting. Contact information. We should really call it contact information form. Okay. Select an animal. Wait, these aren't animals? Cheesy. Where's our label? Select the state. Alright. Alright, we'll see y'all tomorrow. Yeah, you too. What time is it? 10:46? Alright, yeah, I'm gonna hop on soon too. Alright, so we have our states. Alright. So no one actually worked on schedule appointment, right? Nobody actually worked on any functionality for scheduling an appointment? Okay. Yeah, it is. We have date pickers, date pickers in there, so date picker, pre-built scheduling software that you could just embed, but then you're connecting yourself to a whole other company that collects your data, you know? Yeah, yeah. It'd be nice. It'd be good just for learning experience to... Nah. My thing is, for each technician, they're gonna have a calendar, right? So if there's 100 technicians, there's gonna be 100 calendars, and the times that you see available need to be connected to the technician calendar, the local technician, you know? So it's not impossible. It's just there's a decent amount of stuff to think about as we build it out, but doable and fun little practice. So, all right, I'm gonna cut this stuff out. Schedule appointment, same stuff in both files. So we're gonna cut all this. We'll be basically starting fresh. Let's just return. All right, cool. So this is working. Working application. Let's go all the way back to the home. Alright. So we enter a zip code that is unserviceable. Huh. We still go to the diagnosis. This is strange. Schedule appointment. Oh. Contact information, diagnose, schedule appointment, page. Alright, so if serviceable, appointment, sign up. Otherwise, email sign up. Alright, so we have some simple code here. So we should be seeing the email sign up. Yeah, because form equals false. Serviceable form equals false. Where is that one then? Here, right? No, here. Serviceable. If serviceable, appointment sign up. Email sign up. Looks very simple. Yeah, you can see serviceable form equals false. And if this parameter is false, we shouldn't be seeing this. I don't know how we would debug it step by step like that. Alright, we could even, I'll plan on working on that tomorrow too, because I'd really like to understand that. You're right. Spend a little bit of time on that, and it's going to make everything so much easier. Alright, yeah, we'll dive into this tomorrow. If anyone finds anything about it, definitely just hit me up. I'm not going to go ahead and commit anything because we don't have a working application, so I'll wait till tomorrow. What do you mean? No, you can. Someone else did. And what they... No, because he didn't have anything either. He did, what he did was he forked the project, and then he submitted a pull request. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, some projects have thousands of forks, right? Depending on... Well, how do you do for open source? Like, yeah, whatever requires the least amount of setup, because I don't want to have to go in here and change things every single time there's a new contributor. Like if there's every week we get 3 new people and I have to add 3 new people every week, I don't want that. I want it set up in a way where people could just contribute, because that's just... I know it's small, but all that stuff adds up. Okay. If there's another way that I could just do it with the settings and just set it up one time and it's good to go, then let's do that if it's easier for everybody else. Because I don't want it to be hard for everybody. I don't want it to be hard for anyone. I want it to be as easy as possible for everybody. So whatever's the best way to do it, let's figure it out and let's do it that way. Mm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're saying write something in the README? Yeah, yeah, we need a README. Alright, cool. Yeah, that sounds good, just so people know. Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Alright, cool.